Breaking tonight, a new report suggesting the female terrorist Tafshin Malik was not asked about jihadist leanings when she was interviewed in Pakistan for her fiancé visa last year, raising questions about the screening process. Earlier today, the State Department was asked about it. Watch.
We don't have any indications right now that the screening process for Ms. Malik was any different than it is for any other fiancé, or that there were any things missing inside this very rigorous screening process. But I can tell you this, if the investigation turns up information that tells us there was something amiss in the screening process, or something we should have done that we didn't, or that the screening process needs to be improved to make it more rigorous, well, we'll do that.
But here's the thing. Fiancé visa applicants are supposed to be asked such questions as, do you seek to engage in terrorist activities while in the United States? Do you plan on visiting Mount Rushmore? I mean, it's like, this is the process. Have you ever, or do you intend to provide money or support to any terrorist groups? Look, she wasn't asked, and the questions are ridiculous. The point is, the process is messed up. And guess what? A female terrorist made it into the country. If she wasn't asked these questions, why wasn't she? But the real question is, what does this screening process look like? And what are they doing to prevent another Tafshin Malik from coming into this country? This is an issue at the heart of the debate we're having right now over immigration into this country. And Glenn Beck is just back from overseas, where he's been looking into Europe's refugee crisis. Glenn Beck is a #1 New York Times bestselling author and founder of The Blaze. Glenn, I'm very well. Thank you for being here. I want to start with breaking news that you yourself just made. Tell us where you just got back from, what you just did.
I just got back from Iraq. I was in Iraq. I was in Slovakia and Sweden. We have a team in about 10 different countries, and we are trying to bring Iraqi Christians out of the Middle East with something called the Nazarene Fund. We've raised $12 million to do it. Our vetting is far superior to the United States, the UN, or the EU, and I'll tell you about that if you care to know. But just a few minutes ago, our first plane of Iraqi Christians has just landed, and it is in Slovakia, in a place called Košita, and we are thrilled that they are safe, and they are actually going to a mass here in just about 2 hours from now to celebrate the blessings that Christ has given them. It is really remarkable to me, Megyn, to see what's going on in the United States and to see how the hoops that people jump through when we do have people in crisis. We have people that are, these people are in real trouble. As this plane took off earlier today, it was targeted by ISIS. When I was there on Sunday night, we were receiving reports. We had to have the whole area blocked off by the Army because they were going to take a vehicle bomb and blow up the church and the gathering that we were at last night, or I mean on Sunday night. It is very, very volatile. These people are targeted, and it's easy to vet them. All you have to do is ask the pastors and the priest, do you know these people? How long have they been Christians? Because there are 0 Christians that are members of ISIS. In fact, our vetting process is so strong, another country has asked us, they were about to bring in a group of so-called Christian refugees into their country. They called Slovakia and said, we understand you've been working with the Nazarene Fund. Can you have them look, because we just have an inkling this isn't right. We sent our team over, and we asked them very specific questions that I'm not going to get into right now because I don't want to tip off the hand. But we
your
found
point is it can be done.
We found
it can be done, and we're not doing it, Glenn. I mean, what I think is interesting is you've gone over, you went over there, you took matters into your own hand, you didn't wait for government, you got private donations, you swooped in, you helped a bunch of Christians, you didn't bring them back here to the United States, you brought them to a place where you're going to try to help them assimilate and start a new life. Back here at home, we have no such ambitions, Glenn. It's not going that way. Not only that, but the process we have in place is allowing people who want to blow us up into the country. You raised the example of Sweden and the question about whether we're talking about a fundamental transformation to our society if we don't get serious about our screening procedures.
I just was over there to do a documentary on Sweden and what's happening over in Europe. Sweden, the Swede will be the minority within 15 years. And if you listen to the people in Sweden, they are begging the government and the EU exactly the same thing. This is not unique. What's happening with Donald Trump is not unique. It's happening all over the West. The people of Sweden know we are headed towards fascism because the government is not listening to the people. They are not doing things that are full of common sense. All of our vetting right now for these refugees that are being jammed down everybody's throat in the West, and I believe is a Trojan horse, is being jammed down the throats by the EU, the United States, and the UN. They have quotas. They have jammed it down. And I'm telling you, Megyn, the group that we found that another country asked us, could you just look at these? When we asked those specific questions, we found several Muslims that were posing as Christians. It's not that hard to figure this out. You just have to have a willingness to say it is about Islam. There is a disease in Islam, and it must be addressed, and it must be spoken. If you're not willing to say it, you're not going to win a war.